Welcome back. We're in the school bus section, section 10. This is 10.3 through 10.7, DMV CDL audio edition. The best way to learn is to listen. We begin section 10.3, school bus section, emergency exit and evacuation. An emergency exit situation can happen to anyone, anytime, anywhere. It could be an accident, a stalled school bus, on a railroad highway crossing, or in a high-speed intersection, an electrical fire in the engine compartment, a medical emergency to student on the school bus, etc. Knowing what to do in an emergency before, during, and after an evacuation can mean the difference between life and death. Planning for emergencies. Determine the need to evacuate the bus. The first and most important consideration is for you to recognize the hazard. If time permits, school bus drivers should contact their dispatch to explain the situation before making a decision to evacuate the school bus. As a general rule, student safety and control is best maintained by keeping students on the bus during an emergency and/or impending crisis situation, if it does not expose them to unnecessary risk or injury. Remember, the decision to evacuate the bus must be a timely one. A decision to evacuate should include considerations of the following conditions. Is there a fire or danger of fire? Is there a smell of raw or leaking fuel? Is there a chance the bus could be hit by another vehicle? Is the bus in the path of a cited tornado or rising waters? Are there downed power lines? Would removing students expose them to speeding traffic, severe weather, or dangerous environments such as downed power lines? Would moving students complicate injuries such as neck-back injuries and fractures? Is there a hazardous spill involved? Sometimes it may be safer to remain on the bus and not come in contact with the material. Mandatory evacuations. The driver must evacuate the bus when the bus is on fire or there's a threat of fire, the bus is stalled on and adjacent to the railroad highway crossing, the position of the bus may change and increase the danger, there is an imminent danger of an accident, or there is a need to quickly evacuate because of a hazardous material spill. Evacuation procedures. Be prepared and plan ahead. When possible, assign 2 responsible older student assistants to each emergency exit. Teach them how to assist the other students off the bus. Assign another student assistant to lead the students to a safe place after the evacuation. However, you must recognize there may not be older responsible students on the bus at the time of the emergency. Therefore, emergency evacuation procedures must be explained to all the students. This includes knowing how to operate the various emergency exits and the importance of listening to and following all instructions given by you. Some tips to determine a safe place. A safe place will be at least 100 feet off the road in the direction of oncoming traffic. This will keep the students from being hit by debris and another vehicle collides with the bus. Lead students upwind of the bus if a fire is present. Lead students as far away from railroad tracks as possible and in the direction of any oncoming train. Lead students upwind of the bus at least 300 feet if there is a risk from spilled hazardous materials. If the bus is in the direct path of a cited tornado and evacuation is ordered, escort students to a nearby ditch or culvert if shelter in a building is not readily available, and direct them to lie face down, hands covering their head. They should be far enough away so the bus cannot topple on them. Avoid areas that are subject to flash floods. General procedures. Determine if evacuation is in the best interest of safety. Determine the best type of evacuation, front, rear, or side door evacuation, or some combination of doors, roof or window evacuation. Now remember to secure the bus by placing the transmission in park, set the parking brakes, shut off the engine, remove the ignition key, activating the hazard warning lights, If time allows, notify your dispatch office of the evacuation location, conditions, and type of assistance needed. Dangle the radio, microphone, or telephone out of the driver's window for later use if operable. If there is no radio or radio is inoperable, dispatch as passing motorist or area resident to call for help. As a last resort, dispatch 2 older responsible students to go for help. Order the evacuation. Evacuate the students from the bus. Do not move a student you believe may be suffered from a neck or spinal injury. Special procedure must be used to move neck spinal injury victims to prevent further injury. Direct a student assistant to lead students to the nearest safe place. Walk through the bus to ensure no students remain on the bus. Retrieve emergency equipment. Join waiting students. Account for all the students and check for their safety. Protect the scene. Set out emergency warning devices necessary and appropriate. Prepare information for emergency responders. Railroad crossings. Types of crossings. Passive crossings. This type of crossing does not have any type of traffic control device. You must stop at these crossings and allow proper procedures. Follow proper procedures. However, the decision to proceed rests entirely in your hands. Passive crossings require you to recognize the crossing, search for any train using the tracks, and decide if there is sufficient clear space to cross safely. Passive crossings have yellow circular advance warning signs, pavement markings, and crossbucks to assist you in recognizing a crossing. Active crossings. This type of crossing has a traffic control device installed at the crossing to regulate traffic at the crossing. These active devices include flashing red lights with or without bells, and flashing red lights with bells and gates. Warning signs and devices. Advance warning signs. This round black on yellow warning sign is placed ahead of a public railroad crossing. The advance warning sign tells you to slow down, look and listen for the train, and prepare to stop at the tracks if a train is coming. See this picture on your screen. Pavement markings. Pavement markings mean the same as the advance warning sign. They consist of an X with letters RR and a no passing marking on 2-lane road. There is also a no passing zone sign on 2-lane roads. There may be a white top line painted on the pavement before the railroad tracks. The front of the school bus must remain behind this line. When you're stopped at the crossing, take a look at the picture for this sign. Now, crossbuck signs. Here's a picture of it here. This sign marks the crossing. It requires you to yield the right-of-way to the train. If there is no white line painted on the pavement, you must stop the bus before the crossbuck sign. When the road crosses over more than one set of tracks, a sign below the crossbuck indicates the number of tracks. See here in the picture. Flashing red light signals. At many highway railroad crossings, the crossbuck sign has flashing red lights and bells. When the lights begin to flash, you must stop. A train is approaching. You are required to yield the right-of-way to the train. If there is more than one track, make sure all tracks are clear before you cross. Gates. Many railroad crossings have gates and flashing red lights and bells. Stop when the lights begin to flash and before the gate lowers across the road lane. Remain stopped until the gates go up and the lights have stopped flashing. Proceed when safe. If the gate stays down after the train passes, do not drive around the gate. Instead, call your dispatcher. See this sign here. Recommended procedures. Each state has laws and regulations governing how school buses must operate at railroad crossings. It is important for you to understand and obey these state laws and regulations. In general, school buses must stop at all crossings to ensure it is safe before proceeding across the tracks. The specific procedures required in each state may vary. A school bus is one of the safest vehicles on the highway. However, a school bus does not have the slightest edge when involved in an accident with a train. Because of a train's size and the weight, it can stop quickly. An emergency escape route does not exist for a train. You can prevent school bus train accidents by following these recommended procedures. As you approach the crossing, slow down, including shifting to a lower gear in the manual transmission bus, and test your brakes. Activate hazard lights approximately 200 feet before the crossing. Make sure your intentions are known. Scan your surroundings and check for traffic behind you. Stay to the right of the roadway if possible. Choose an escape route in the event of a brake failure or problems behind you. Now when you're at the crossing, stop no closer than 15 feet and no farther than 50 feet from the nearest rail where you have the best view of the tracks. Place the transmission in park, or if there is no park, put it in neutral and press down on the service brake or set the parking brake. Turn off all radios and noisy equipment and silence the passengers. Open the service door and driver's window. Look and listen for an approaching train. As you cross the track, check the crossing signals again before you proceed. At a multiple track crossing, stop only before the first set of tracks. When you are sure no train is approaching on any track, proceed all the way across the tracks until you have completely cleared them. Cross the tracks in a low gear. Do not change gears while crossing the tracks. If the gate comes down after you have started crossing, drive through it, even if it means you will break the gate. Now special situations, like bus stalls or trapped on the tracks. If your bus stalls or is trapped on the tracks, get everyone out and off the tracks immediately. Move everyone far from the bus at an angle, which is both away from the tracks and toward the train. Police officers at the crossing. This is a special condition. If a police officer is at the crossing, obey his directions. If there is no police officer and you believe the signal is malfunctioning, call your dispatcher to report the situation and ask for instructions on how to proceed. Obstructed views of the tracks. Plan your route so it provides maximum sight distance at highway railroad crossings. Do not attempt to cross the tracks unless you can see far enough down the track to know for certain that no trains are approaching. Passive crossings are those that do not have any type of traffic control device. Be especially careful at passive crossings. Even if there are active railroad signs that indicate the tracks are clear, you must look and listen to be sure it is safe to proceed. Containment and storage areas. If it will not fit, do not commit. If it will not fit, do not commit. Know the length of your bus and the size of the containment area at the railroad crossing on the school bus route, as well as any crossings you encounter in the course of a school activity trip. When approaching a crossing with a signal or stop sign on the opposite side, pay attention to the amount of room that you have. Be certain the bus has enough containment or storage area to completely clear the tracks on the other side if there is a need to stop. As a general rule, add 15 feet to the length of the school bus to determine the acceptable amount of containment or storage area for your bus. Student management. Do not deal with on-bus problems when loading and unloading. In order to get students to and from school safely and on time, you need to be able to concentrate on the driving task. Loading and unloading requires all your concentration. Do not take your eyes off what is happening outside the bus. If there is a behavior problem on the bus, wait until the students unload and are safely off the bus and have moved away. If necessary, pull the bus over to handle the problem. Handling serious problems. Tips on handling serious problems. Follow your school's procedure for disciplinary or refusal of rights to ride the bus. Stop the bus, park in a safe location off the road, perhaps a parking lot or a driveway. Secure the bus, take the ignition key with you if you leave your seat. Stand up and speak respectfully to the offender or offenders. Speak in a courteous manner with a firm voice. Remind the offender of the expected behavior. Do not show anger, but do show that you mean business. If a change of seating is needed, request that the student move to a seat near you. Never put a student off the bus except at a school or at his or her designated school bus stop. If you feel that the offense is serious enough that you cannot safely drive the bus, call for a school administrator or the police to come and remove the student. Anti-lock braking systems, or ABS. Vehicles required to have ABS. The U.S. Department of Transportation, the DOT, requires that ABS be on air brake vehicles built on or after March 1, 1998, or hydraulic brake trucks and buses with a gross vehicle weight rating of 10,000 pounds or more, built on or after 1999. Many buses built before these dates have been voluntarily equipped with ABS. Your school bus will have a yellow ABS malfunction lamp on the instrument panel if it is equipped with ABS. How ABS helps you. When you brake hard on slippery surfaces in a vehicle without ABS, your wheels may lock up. When your steering wheels lock up, you lose steering control. When your other wheels lock up, you may skid or even spin the vehicle. ABS helps you avoid wheel lockup and maintain control. You may or may not be able to stop fast with ABS, but you should be able to steer around an obstacle while braking and avoiding skids caused by overbraking. Braking with ABS. When you drive a vehicle with ABS, you should brake as you always have. In other words, use only the braking force necessary to stop safely and stay in control. Brake the same way regardless of whether you have ABS or not. However, in an emergency braking, do not pump the brakes on a bus with ABS. As you slow down, monitor your bus and back off the brakes to stay in control. Braking if ABS is not working. Without ABS, you still have normal brake functions. Drive and brake as you always have. Vehicles with ABS have yellow malfunction lamps to tell you if something is not working. The yellow ABS malfunction lamp is on the bus instrument panel. As a system check on newer vehicles, the malfunction lamp comes on at the start of the bulb check and then goes out quickly. Now in older systems, the lamp could stay on until you drive over 5 miles per hour. If the lamp stays on after the bulb check or goes on once you are underway, you may have lost ABS control at one or more wheels. Remember, if your ABS malfunctions, you still have regular brakes, so drive normally, but get the system serviced soon. Safety reminders. Safety reminders. ABS will not allow you to drive faster, follow more closely, or drive less carefully. ABS will not prevent power of the turning skids. ABS will not prevent power or turning skids. ABS should prevent brake-induced skids, but not those caused by spinning the drive wheels or going too fast in a turn. ABS will not necessarily shorten stopping distance. ABS will help maintain vehicle control, but not always shorten your stopping distance. ABS will not increase or decrease ultimate stopping power. ABS is an add-on to your normal brakes and not a replacement for them. ABS will not change the way you normally brake. Under normal brake conditions, your vehicle will stop as it always stopped. ABS only comes into play when a wheel would normally have locked up because of overbraking. ABS will not compensate for bad brakes or poor brake maintenance. Remember, the best vehicle safety feature is still a safe driver. Drive so you never need to use your ABS. If you need it, ABS could help to prevent a serious accident. Special safety considerations. Special safety considerations like your strobe light. Some school buses are equipped with roof-mounted white strobe lights. If your bus is so equipped, the overhead strobe light should be used when you have limited visibility. This means that you cannot easily see around you, in front, behind, or besides the school bus. Your visibility could be only slightly limited, or it could be so bad that you cannot see nothing at all. Driving in high wind. Strong wind affects the handling of the school bus. The side of a school bus acts like a sail on a sailboat. Strong wind can push the school bus sideways. They can even move the bus off the road, or in extreme conditions it can tip over. If you are caught in strong winds, keep a strong grip on the steering wheel. Try to anticipate the gust. You should slow down to lessen the effect of the wind or pull off the roadway and wait. Contact your dispatcher and get more information on how to proceed. Backing. Backing a school bus is strongly discouraged. You should back your bus only when you have no other safe way to move the vehicle. You should never back a school bus when students are outside of the bus. Backing is dangerous and increases the risks of an accident. If you have no choice and you must back your bus, follow these procedures. Post a lookout. The purpose of the lookout is to warn you about obstacles approaching persons and other vehicles. The lookout should not give directions on how to back the bus. Signal for quiet on the bus. Constantly check all your mirrors and rear windows. Back slowly and smoothly. If no lookout is available, set the parking brake, turn off the motor, take the keys with you, walk to the rear of the bus to determine whether the way is clear or not. If you must back up at a student pickup point, be sure to pick up students before backing and watch for latecomers at all times. Be sure that all students are in the bus before backing. If you must back up at a student drop-off point, be sure to unload students after backing. Tail swing. A school bus can have up to a 3-foot tail swing. You need to check your mirrors before and during any turning movements to monitor tail swing. Now it's time to test your knowledge. I'll ask you a few questions. You should know the answer in your mind. If you do not, please re-listen to Section 10, or see my video on the test questions and answers for your DMV test. Number 1. Define the danger zone. How far does the danger zone extend around the bus? Number 2. What should you be able to see if the outside flat mirrors are adjusted properly? What about the outside convex mirrors and the crossover mirrors? Number 3. You are loading students along the route. When should you activate your alternating flashing amber warning lights? Number 4. You are unloading students along your route. Where should students walk to after exiting the bus? Number 5. After unloading at school, why should you walk through the bus? Number 6. What position should students be in front of the bus before they cross the roadway? Under what conditions must you evacuate the bus? Number 8. How far from the nearest railroad should you stop at a railroad crossing? Number 9. What is a passive highway railroad crossing? And why should you be extra cautious at this type of crossing? Number 10. How should you use your brakes if your vehicle is equipped with ABS? Now remember, these tests may be on your DMV. These questions may be on your DMV test. If you cannot answer them, re-listen to this video or see my video on the test questions and answers. We've completed Section 10. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video.